Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Melissa joining me. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Amanda. Hi, everyone.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video. It is how to revise any situation. So I think I did a live on this recently, and yeah, I had a lot of great feedback. So we thought we would actually make a video about it and explain it a little bit further, because I think revision is so incredibly important. And I'm not sure it's quite understood. I mean, you know, anytime you're doing a mental diet or thinking about what you want when something opposite is showing up, you're actually doing revision right then and there. So we'll dive into that a little bit deeper. So this video is for anybody that is finding that they're waiting for their manifestation, they're feeling stuck, or they just want to speed it up. Things are happening, but they just want to make it quicker. This video is for you guys, okay? So just before we dive into it, guys, we have something really exciting. We have Melissa's Monday meetup. It's a question and answer time with Melissa. I think there's a lot of benefits because, you know, everyone's going to be, that's there is going to be asking questions. It is limited availability because we do want all of you guys to be able to ask a question. So there is limited seats available. And I think it's a really great opportunity to, you know, hear other people's questions and their answers. And because everyone, as you pushed out, intend that, you know what, everybody asks questions that are relevant to you and that helps you. They may ask questions that you hadn't even thought of and give you that aha moment. And you'll also get an opportunity to ask a question as well. So that, and Melissa's coaching is on sale. So the Monday meetup's on sale. Her coaching is on sale right now. So definitely check out the links in the description below. And guys, of course, as you know, we have a free ebook, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. I think I've like named that wrong. It should be like how to do a mental diet properly, because it's actually goes into detail of like questioning's a block and how to, you know, build your mental diet. It's gotten lots of great feedback. People are getting results with it. So definitely check out the link in the description below. If you go to get it and it says you're already, you know, you've already are on our list, you've already got it, just email us at sessions@createyourfuture.co and Brandy will get you a free copy of it for sure. So yeah, hey, let's dive straight into this. So Melissa, you were going to share what you do for revision.
Yeah, so I think revision can be kind of a confusing topic sometimes. So my simple, easy, effective way of revising is if something, a circumstance shows up in my reality and I don't like it, I will immediately acknowledge it and just decide something new is true about it. And so you're revising on the spot. So like an example could be, let's say you get an unexpected bill in the mail and you're like, oh my gosh, this bill is so much, I don't want to pay it. You know, it just immediately puts you in a bad mood, right? So look at that bill, acknowledge it. Okay, do I like this? Sure don't. I'm going to decide it was a mistake and they actually sent it to the wrong person. And in fact, they owe me money. And so I will keep telling myself that new story about that bill every time I think about that bill. And then in that moment, I'm revising it. I'm revising it. I'm revising it. I'm changing what I believe is true about it. And then it will reflect that back to me in my experience, in my reality.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? I just thought of a success story, and this one is so good because I never thought I could actually change something like this. So actually, I've got two of them of revision. So basically, we had like everyone knows I live in the Lower Mainland in Canada in Vancouver. Anyways, so we had this bridge and it was tolled, okay? And the company that would actually charge us, Trio, for the tolling was absolutely terrible. Like it was terrible. Like half the time they charge you and you didn't even go over it, or they double charge you, triple. It was just crazy. And so, and you can get passes and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think this is right. Like, and I had to drive the bridge a lot. So I'm like, no, I don't want a toll bridge. I don't want a toll bridge. So I basically intended that they would take the toll off the bridge, and boom, they took the toll off the bridge, right? Another time we have a medical service plan in Canada where the government does pay for our medical, but we still had to pay a premium every month, right? So I remember I was getting like a bill for my medical service plan. It was like $75 a month, which, I mean, okay, I can't complain because pretty much everything's covered, but I did complain and I was like, no, I don't want to pay this $75 a month. So at the time I was low income. This was like years ago. And I wrote them and I appealed and I said, look, I don't make enough money to pay this $75. And they were like, actually you do. And I was like, I don't want to pay this. So then I was like, no, I intend. And with my writing that letter, I was intending they would cut it in half,
Mhm.
right? Because I was like, I'm okay with paying half. And then it was funny, the next year, we got at the beginning of the year, we got this little leaflet. It said, oh, medical premiums are being cut in half, right? It's only going to be $32.50 going forward. And I was like, okay. And then when I got that, I was like, no, I don't want to pay anything at all. I got this cut in half, but I don't want to pay anything at all. So I revised it and I said, no, I'm like, it's going to be free. And then all of a sudden it was like about the next year, about a year later, we got our medical service bill, and Andrew, he said, did you look in your medical service bill? And I'm like, no. And I just didn't open it till the last minute to pay it. Actually, I wasn't even going to open it. I was just going to pay what I usually pay. And he says, no, you need to open it. You got to open it. So I opened it, and sure enough, it said, we're now waiving it. Nobody has to pay anything for our medical service plan. Like, it's basically free for Canadians now. And I was like, well, I manifested it free. But, I mean, in that story, right? Like I didn't want to pay the $75. I tried to appeal the decision to get my personal one cut in half, but they said no. And then I didn't give up there. I was like, no, it's going to be half off. I don't care how it's going to be. And then sure enough, it became half off. Then I was like, no, that's still not good enough. I want it fully off. Right. So I kind of did it in steps, because I was like, wow, if I could manifest it being half off, why didn't I just manifest it being free? Right. So,
Yeah.
And there's where we look at our reality and we say, do I like that? And if the answer is no, what do you want instead? And you make that intention of what you want instead, you're actually instantly revising.
Yeah. And just something I noticed as you were telling the story, when you wrote that letter, that's you taking action. That's you taking action against a circumstance you don't like, right? So it's really important to know what's your intention behind that action, because if you had sent that letter and just thought, well, I'm going to send this, but they're really not going to help me or do anything about it, and perpetuated in that story, then that's how it would have continued to play out for you.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, when I was sending that letter, I knew I didn't qualify, but I was gonna try it anyway, right? You're right. My intention wasn't behind that letter. Like, it just wasn't. Like, I was writing it, and I was like, well, maybe they'll just give me an exception. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't, a clear conviction. So, and because when I was writing that letter and I wanted it in half, I knew it wasn't gonna work because it wasn't fully into it. I thought I would do it anyway, but even when it didn't work, I'm like, no, it's still going to happen somehow. And then it did, right? It did happen somehow.
Yeah, just persisting, no matter what keeps coming back at you, persisting in the story that you want.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think the other thing, to revise, let's say, for instance, a third party. Here's a really good one. You guys are going to love this. How to revise a third party. Now, if you don't actually see the third party, say you hear about it from a friend, or you're on social media and you see them having a picture with somebody, another, that you assume is a third party, you would revise your assumptions, right? So, for instance, I remember when I first started dating Andrew, I'd look at his Facebook, and I'd see pictures of him with girls, and I'd be like, oh my God, is that a girlfriend? Is he dating her? And then I went back and I was like, no, okay, these thoughts are going to create a third party. I need to revise this. So instead of, thinking that, I revised the meaning I was giving the picture. I revised my perception of the picture. And I said, no, they weren't anybody. They were just somebody he knew from networking, or it's a coworker, or, staff, whatever, it's nothing, it's not a third party. And so, if you, for instance, you hear, somebody says, oh, I saw your SP, they were with another, girl or whatever, another guy, you could, and if you haven't actually witnessed it, you've only heard about it, you can actually revise it and go, you know what? No, they were completely wrong. Okay. They were totally mistaken. It was actually their sister or somebody else. And then, you'll actually shift your situation, and your friend will come back and be like, oh no, sorry, I was wrong. It was their sister. It was their cousin. So you can revise anything that you actually, have come in your reality. I mean, me personally, okay, so apparently you can revise things like me. Okay, so I've heard that you can say, for instance, revise things that have actually happened, like witness. So let's do the example of people out there say, well, if you burn your hand, you can revise it that it never actually happened, wake up the next morning and be completely healed. For me, that doesn't work, okay, because I personally can't wrap my head around something I actually witness with my own two eyes or physically feel for it not to happen. For me, it would be easier to revise that it heals really, really quickly. You know what I mean? So, you know, same thing, like for instance, let's say, you know, we want to revise that a wedding never happened, you know, and because, you know, it turned out really bad and they got divorced and it was terrible. If I went to the wedding, I wouldn't be able to revise the wedding itself, but I would be able to revise that, you know what, whatever the bad thing was that I'm really trying to revise, which is, you know, the divorce and, you know, both parties, you know, being miserable, you know, I can revise it to, okay, well, you know what, either their divorce was the best thing that happened to them and their lives are better now, or, you know, they get back together and their marriage is great. So, you know, not so much going for, like, basically what I'm saying is revise things in a way that's believable to you, because you're going to get results a lot quicker than trying to reach for these things, because you're going to have to build your belief that the revision you want to do is possible. Like, for instance, it's easy for me to revise a headache by just saying, okay, well, I'll take 2 Advils and wait 20 minutes and I'll be fine, rather than, you know, trying to get rid of my headache without any Tylenol or Advil. Like, you know, it just takes so much longer to do it without, you know, because I've got the belief of the placebo effect that I take some Tylenols and I'm good, you know?
Great. Yeah. It's really just, I find also, I agree with you, that the easiest way for me to revise is just to accept that something happened and then change the meaning behind it. So like, for example, I've dropped something on my foot and it hurt really bad, and then I started to get a bruise instantly. And so I'm not going to be able to believe that that bruise isn't just going to disappear. You know, it never happened. Like I could sit there and just revise, oh, I dropped it and it landed on the floor instead of my foot. I could totally do that. But for me, what was easier would be to, oh, I have this essential oil that I know is really good for bruises. I'm going to put this on there. It's already feeling better. My body heals super quick. It's going to be like almost gone by morning, you know? And so for me, the placebo was the essential oil and knowing that my body heals quickly. And so that's the story I decided to adopt about the bruise. And then that's what shows up for me. And then the wedding experience, you know, it really is like, okay, so you saw this thing, it happened, you didn't like it, you know, so you're probably not going to be able to believe that it never happened. So just decide something better is true about it. And if you can't think of an exact thing in that moment, what I like to do is just decide, you know what, maybe I can't see it right now, but I know that this is working in my favor. And I'm still going to get my end result, my manifestation, which is this, you know, this is what's true about it now. Like, yeah, it happened and it was bad, but it made people realize this, and this, and, you know, it's going to work out in my favor, no matter what's showing up.
Exactly. I mean, of course, guys, if you are out there and you have the belief, you know, that, you know, you do injure yourself or something happens or you see something and you can basically revise it that it actually never happened, and you have that level of belief, then, you know what, by all means, go for it. Neville says that that is possible. A lot of people believe that that's possible, and that's great. You know, me, I'll take the path of least resistance with it, you know, because that's where I'm at. But I do have like, you know, sort of like a threshold. So like, for instance, let's say, you know, I get like pains, like, you know, in my stomach, right? Okay. Let's say I've got stomach pains. Okay. I intend my stomach's fully healthy, but let's say I do. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there worrying like, oh my goodness, is it my appendix? Is it my appendix? Right. And you know what, even so, before I get diagnosed with anything, okay, it'll be easy for me to say, okay, no, it's not my appendix. It's just like gas pains. And then boom, I've revised it right then and there to not be something serious and just be gas pains. You know what I mean? But then for me, the point of no return would be if I actually got, well, actually that wouldn't be. If I got diagnosed, I would just intend the doctor was wrong and the pain went away. Do you know what I mean? So, right. You know, you find your comfort level of what's believable to you to revise, right? Do you know what I'm saying? You know, because there's, you know, we just want our end goal. There's no point proving to ourselves that this works or doesn't work, because if we're trying to prove it doesn't work, we're always going to be right. If we want to prove it works, we're always going to be right. But like, you know, why struggle with, you know, trying to create a belief, you know, well, what's your end goal? What's the easiest way to get there? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's simple, you know, it's about changing in the moment what your thoughts and perceptions about what you're witnessing or what you're hearing in your reality, and revising it into a believable way for you. And you'll find that when you do that, you'll get things a lot more quicker. Of course, you don't have to really believe your intentions, but I mean, to a point, you have to believe to a point. Like, you can't say people don't change and then expect to recreate somebody and change them, because you've right there said that they're not going to change. They have to show up like that. So we've got to watch the language and thoughts that we carry about our assumptions about things before we can actually change them. So do yourself a favor, do the path of least resistance. I mean, you may not be able to bend like a fork with your mind, but you can bend it with your hands. Okay. Either way, the fork gets bent. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Make it easy on yourself.
Yeah. And a fun way to test revision is with other people. Like, the point of revision is to change a circumstance that you're already aware of, right? You're aware of it in some capacity. You want to revise the outcome. You want to revise what you're getting back, right? So it's really fun to practice it with people. So let's say you're in the car with your boyfriend or girlfriend and they say something and it really makes you mad. Like, it's really annoying. It's really irritating. Whatever they said just really pissed you off. Okay. So there's a moment you could revise it. You can just decide, oh, they totally didn't mean to offend me. It just came out wrong. They messed up the words that they were trying to say and they actually meant this. And so you're changing what you believe is true about what they said. And then, they're going to say something to confirm your change. Or like, let's say they say something and then it gives you the opinion that they're so bossy, just decide, oh, they're actually never bossy with me. They just, were grumpy with the person driving in front of them or something. And then they're going to start to show up not being bossy. Their personality will change as a result of you revising your assumption about them and about what they said.
Exactly. So everything is revision. I mean, everything we do in a day, as soon as we change our thoughts and our perception or the meaning we give something, we are immediately revising. So a mental diet is so easy to revise. I just do that all day. I don't do anything else, to be honest. I see something that shows up and I don't like it, and then I instantly revise it. Like, Andrea will come down the stairs. He'll be in a little bit of a, whatever mood that I'm not, having or jiving with. And I'll immediately go, no, you know what? He's over it and he's happy and he's in a great mood. And then boom, that manifests, and just constantly all day, it's like, I just take a look and I'm like, what do I like showing up right now? What don't I like? And of course, the things I don't like really stand out. And, and it's about just observing it in that moment and going, okay, what do I want instead? And always giving, people and things the benefit of the doubt, right? Because when you give everything that somebody does a good meaning, like, for instance, like if I argue and fight with Andrew and, he says some hurtful things, but I say to myself, okay, he doesn't mean it. He was just angry. People say things when they're mad that they don't mean. And then all of a sudden he'll come back and he was like, I'm sorry I said that. I didn't mean it. Rather than me going, no, he meant it. I can't believe he said that. It hurts me. He believes that. Right now I'm sticking with that old story. So it just changing your stories and the meaning you give things and the assumptions you have about things that have happened are going to completely change your world. And it really is just your minute to minute thoughts. Like, everything can change in instantly, in a moment, really.
Yeah. And when you think better of people, it's just giving yourself a gift, because ultimately they're going to show up better for you. So if you are just stuck in those awful feelings and being mad at somebody and, they do this and they say this, you're just hurting yourself, because they're going to show up that way for you in a constant loop until you change your assumptions about them.
That's so true. I was speaking with one of the coaches on our team years ago, and it always remember it. She said, why would you want to have a bad opinion and assumption about somebody? Like, they don't want to be like that. They don't want to be a mean, malicious person. They don't want to be someone that hurts you. Like, I mean, when you think about it, whenever you've hurt somebody, it doesn't feel good. When someone says, oh, you know what you said hurt me. I'm like, when someone says that to me, I feel terrible. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't mean to hurt you. You know what I mean? So, why create someone else to do that to you? It's not comfortable to them. And like Melissa said, it's not giving yourself a gift. Give yourself a gift, have them treat you well and want to treat you good and be nice to you. And then that's going to make them feel good and it's going to make you feel good. So
yeah, and it really can highlight your self-worth. If you notice a pattern in your life of where people just treat you bad all the time, acknowledge that and ask yourself, do I feel worthy of being treated with kindness and love and respect and, from anybody? Because that's a really easy assumption to start to shift, start building up your self-concept. And then you're just going to get showered with love and affection from everybody when you realize, you're worth it. And people do love me, respect me, treat me well, you know. So
exactly. I love talking about law of assumption. I really do. Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
no,
Guys, I am so blessed that I get to talk with Melissa and all the other coaches here regularly. You know, I really honestly find a big benefit with surrounding myself with people that do know the law of assumption, because, you know, they can catch you when you slip up, rather than, you know, I actually don't have many people in my life that don't know the law of assumption, because I find it really helps me. So, you know, I intend that you guys surround yourself with great people. And yeah, I mean, everyone here is absolutely amazing. And I just love talking about this stuff. So thank you.
It's so fun. And honestly, that's why I wanted to do those Monday meetups, because I know it can feel a little bit lonely sometimes when you don't have a lot of people in your inner circle that know the law and how it all works, you know, that we can consciously create our world. So my intention is that that's a place where you can come and chat and hear from others who are also conscious creators, and ask questions and hear answers to questions maybe you didn't even know you had.
Exactly. So I'm excited for that. I think it's great. They're always such a huge hit. It's going to fill up fast. It is on sale, like I said, guys, and same with Melissa's coachings on sale. So definitely check out the links in the description below. And guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And thank you for being here, Melissa.
Thanks, Amanda. I always love talking with you.
Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.